Good morning and good evening to the folks across the globe. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today's webinar. I am Saukartika from TSI and I would be the moderator for this session. Today we are presenting code formatting presented by Richard Charles Henry. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the session, please click on the hand raise button so that you will be unmuted to proceed with the questions. Or you can enter your question in the question chat box. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Rick. Our presenter today is a system engineer who have been associated with TSI for almost a year and who have overall of 37 years of experience. His fortes are TPF, TPFTF, C, Linux, and Lisa service virtualization and assembly.
Okay, we're going to talk about code formatting for C and C++. We'll touch briefly on what is code formatting, what tool is being used, formatting, simple formatting a C component, how zTPFGI incorporates the formatting tool, some predefined formats that are available to us, the code format configurator that helps you come up with a custom configuration for your format, how to create that custom format, and then question and answers. So what is code formatting? Well, it's a set of rules or guidelines used when writing source code for a computer program. Why do we need code formatting? Following a particular programming style will help the programmer read and understand the source code. Conforming to that style helps to avoid introducing errors, and it also aids in the adherence of the uniform coding standard across an organization. Of course, there's downsides to everything. It introduces change into a program, so if you format an existing code, it'll generate a lot of change for that that program. Formats really should be defined at a team or an organizational level. Okay. In zTPFGI, there was the code formatting feature, and it was introduced in 1.3.7.0. And it uses an open source tool called the C-lang format. Hold on, we're going to switch over to zTPFGI and show how quickly and easily you can format a program. This is a sample program that I actually got from an article that the folks at MongoDB did. They implemented the C-lang language format across their entire organization, and the article talks about some of the challenges they had and how they went through the process. I'll provide all the web links when we post the video into on the internet. To format some code, it's relatively easy. It's a Control Shift and F, and it'll format. You'll see right off that it sorted our includes. The default format is based off of LLVM, and all these predefined formats are. It's sort of confusing. There are 5 predefined formats. There's Chromium, Google, LLVM, Mozilla, and WebKit. And they really don't go anywhere and explain what options were being set for each of the individual predefined formats. If you do a search on the internet for C-lang-base, it'll bring you to this page, and then you can look at any of the individual formats and see what options are being set. So this goes through all the different various options that they've defined. The The C language tool, when it originally came out, I think there was about 40 options that could be set. And now with the latest versions, there's close to 90 options. Back to this code. When I had mentioned briefly that one of the drawbacks is it introduces a lot of change into your source code. And a good example is, let's get out of here, comparing these two files. They were identical files with, I just added a second function call into this program. So if we do a quick compare, we see this was the function call that I added, and that's the any change in the program. If we close this back out and go back to a second way to invoke the formatter is the right-click, and then you'll see the format code option in the drop-down. Let's go back to the one that has the change. Code. Now if we do the compare, you'll see, and a lot of the changes are just white space changes, but it's still, when you're doing a diff between two files, it'll show quite a bit of change. Anyway, we'll get out of this. So TPF software provides the default for the zTPFGI, and like I had mentioned, it's, I believe it's based off of the LLVM standard. That doesn't mean you have to stay with that. So if we go into File, then zTPFGI options, scroll down to the editor options, and then code format options, it gives you this page. In here, you can select any of the predefined formats from LLVM to WebKit. The reason that default and LLVM might be different is if your organization has provided us a format that they would like to be the default for that organization. And so the system administrator would apply that. So you can select any of these, or if you want to get really creative, you can create your own custom format. zTPFGI gives you an option to create your own custom format. You open this, click on this Open Style Configurator. It will take you to, it's just giving you a confirmation box that you're going to go outside of GI, and it brings you to this configurator. This configurator on the right side includes sample source code. Now you don't have to use the sample source code. You can delete it and bring over your own code. And then as you make changes to the format, so you can pick a base to start off with. You will see the changes reflected in real time over on the code on the right side. This drop-down lets you specify which version you're going to be using. Now, in that article about MongoDB, they had settled on 3.7.1 as that was the latest version available when they did their project. So you can see, and I believe they did their project in 2015 or 16. So it's progressed quite a ways just since then. There's a lot more options available. On the left side, there's a little informational icon, and it gives you a description of what the option actually does. So that's really handy. And I remember in the last webinar on code formatting, there was a question about supporting column limits. And yes, it does, and you can set whatever column limits are applicable to your installation. So if you need to use 72 or you could default it to 120, and you'll see the changes in real time. When you've played around enough with all the options and you're ready to save it, you just click Save. Now, because I'm using Chromium, it doesn't give me a Save As option. It just saves it as C language format and then whatever revision.txt. The tool wants to use a YAML file, so I'll need to go into my download and then take the file that I just saved and rename it to, now we can go back to GI, and again at those options. So now we want to use our custom format, and we browse to where we saved it. You see it's put the path in here. We say OK. Now, if you go back and look at it one more time, zTPFGI has copied it into one of his own folders, so that way you don't have to keep track of that file anymore. So you can clear out your downloads. We have it saved in one of our folders, so it won't get lost. So then you can go here and apply the custom format. And, well, I didn't make very many changes, so you didn't see too much. This example program that I had pulled was really pretty slick because they went through quite a few of the options that they were concerned about and created examples for each one. So that was an easy way to see like how some of the various changes take place. And I'll provide that the link for that sample program. That pretty much wraps up the what I have to present. Are there any questions?
A gentle reminder to the attendees, if you have any questions, please click on the hand raise button so that you'll be unmuted to proceed with your questions, or you can enter your questions straight away in the question chat box. We have a question from Chet Virus. What about Java?
I believe the tool supports Java. Ed might have to answer. The tool itself, I think, supports Java. I don't know if our implementation of it supports it at this time. Ed?
Okay, there's one more question from Michael Erickson. And will the config be retained across zTPFGI updates, especially custom ones?
Yes.
Okay, there's, I'm going to unmute Jordan. Okay, Jordan, now you're unmuted. You can proceed with your question.
Hi. My screen is a little bit slow in catching up. When you save the file, the original save, it went to your downloads area? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's just where Chrome defaults to. And that's my default browser, so that's where it saved it. And then I had to rename it to get the YAML extension, and then I could load it into, yeah.
So that was the second question, was the YAML extension, it saves it as text, and you have to modify the extension to YAML, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And then when you go into your custom, that's where you go and browse for that file to pull in.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And then it'll take that and copy it into one of the zTPFGI folders, so you don't have to be concerned if you clear out your downloads or anything.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, there's one more question from Chet, and he's asking whether zTPFGI is planning on supporting development in Java for TPF.
I would think it would be fairly soon. Ed, would you know?
This is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Part in the current release 2, which is what, version 9? That hasn't been given to all the customers yet, is that right?
That's correct.
In version 9, we have the capability to use the make TPF process to compile and build. There's some configurations for your company that we would have to work with to make it work, but the code has been tested and that is supported. There was always syntax coloring for Java. We're working on debugging Java on TPF within our debugger currently, and we're aiming for at least a big part of that to be done in release 1 of this year. And that would be in the case of you're wanting to test it and load it in TPF itself. Is that the question? Was the debugging, or was it the autocomplete, or was it the syntax coloring, or what specific Java were they asking?
Okay. Everything. He's asking about everything.
Yeah. So at this point, with the release that came out, should be with some. We can work with your customer support in your company, and you should be able to compile and build using the Make TPF if you want to. If your company chooses to go that direction, zTPFGI support. The syntax coloring actually was already there. If you open the Java, it should be there. And then the actual debugging, where you could actually debug it on TPF, we're currently working on that project, and it'll be either most of it will be done this year, first half, and what we don't get to will be done the second half. Now, with that all said, a lot of companies are looking to do Java local on their PC and using other product clients, separate clients that have support for Java, but we do plan on supporting Java within zTPFGI.
Thank you, Jeff, and hope it answers your questions, Chet. Rick, it looks like we have answered all the questions. So thank you, Rick. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. A short survey will open up. You can specify topics for the upcoming webinar session. We will send you webinar follow-up email within a week's time, which will contain the link of this recorded session. If in case of any queries, contact customer support executive or write to productsinfo@tpfsoftware.com. Thank you. We will have webinars followed on second Wednesday of every month. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks.